The IDF has continued to strike hard blows at Hamas in the Gaza Strip, despite the efforts of the terrorist organization to rehabilitate itself. At the same time, the Air Force pounded Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon, destroying rocket launchers and other military infrastructure. Security operations also continue in Judea and Samaria, including the targeted assassination of a terror cell in the city of Tubas. In Gaza, Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar breaks his silence and reveals details about his own plans, while the IDF publishes documentation of the tunnel where 6 Israeli hostages were held and later executed. Let's dive into the details. I'm Yair Pinto, and this is your Boots on the Ground report about what is happening in Israel on the 341st day of the war against Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, and all its terrorist proxies in Yemen, Iraq, and Syria. While Hamas is trying to rehabilitate itself, the IDF is inflicting a series of mortal blows on it. In a joint operation by the IDF forces and the Shin Bet, several senior Hamas operatives were eliminated on Tuesday. The forces of Division 162 and the Shin Bet eliminated Muhammad Hamdan, the battalion commander, and 3 company commanders of the Tel Sultan battalion in Gaza City over the last 24 hours. The leadership of this Hamas unit has for all intents and purposes been annihilated, together with a large percentage of fighters who were attached to it over the last several days. This is also significant because Hamdan was a key figure in the planning of the October 7th massacre against Israel and has participated in many other terrorist attacks against Israel over the years. Earlier, Air Force fighter jets under the direction of the Shin Bet, Amman, and the Southern Command attacked key terrorists of the terrorist organization Hamas who were operating in a command and control complex disguised in the humanitarian area in Khan Yunis. The IDF says that the Air Force bombardment of the area neutralized 19 Hamas terrorists, including 4 high-ranking battalion commanders and area commanders. The IDF rejected Hamas claims that the number of casualties was greater and included a large number of uninvolved civilians. The IDF also noted that there is a growing trend of Hamas terrorists emerging from tunnels to hide and operate amidst the civilian population, but that when they are located, the IDF uses precision weapons and intelligence to target them while minimizing the risk to these civilians that they use as human shields. Additionally, the IDF has identified an attempt by Hamas to rehabilitate its position in the northern region of the Gaza Strip. The Hamas battalions in this sector have been comprehensively dismantled, but stragglers remain, and Hamas is trying to get them organized and reinforcing them as best they can. In response to this, the IDF's 252nd Division launched an operation in the center of the Gaza Strip this week with 3 main objectives. The first objective is to expand the security corridor in the center of the Gaza Strip. The second is to send a message to Hamas that the IDF will continue hitting them until there is a ceasefire agreement. A third objective is to thwart the attempt to rehabilitate the battalions of Hamas. Above all else, it is unthinkable that Hamas will be allowed to re-emerge from this war, still able to threaten Israel with the possibility of more attacks like the massacres of October 7th. We know the depth of this evil and depravity from what we saw on that day, and more proof has emerged as we have discovered and explored the network of tunnels that they built underneath the Gaza Strip. One such tunnel, in particular, was used to hold 6 Israeli hostages who were murdered almost 2 weeks ago. On Tuesday, the IDF published some more details about what was found in this tunnel. The forensic tests carried out by the IDF and the Shin Bet showed that they were murdered by at least 2 terrorists. Dry food, urine collection tools, mattresses, and AK-47 ammunitions were found there, leading to the assumption that the hostages were held in the tunnel for a few days to a few weeks before they were murdered. The bodies were found 700 meters from the place where Farhan El-Qadi was found, who was rescued safely by IDF forces and back to Israel. Following this rescue, the IDF forces continued to operate in the area to arrest terrorists and locate additional tunnels. On Friday, the forces operated in the Tel El Sultan area following intelligence about the presence of a tunnel shaft in that area. During the scans, a shaft in a children's room leading to a 20-meter deep tunnel was discovered. The entrance was blocked, requiring heavy equipment to open it up. During the activity of the forces on Saturday, 6 bodies were identified in the tunnel, and a complex operation began to rescue them. There was no information about the presence of hostages at the location until the bodies were found. After the forces removed the bodies, a long process of investigation of the tunnel began. Documentation of the tunnel was made at the request of the families, and the video was also shown to ministers in the Israeli Security Cabinet at the beginning of the week. The forces of the Nahal Infantry Unit, 401 tanks, and Shayetet, which are the Israeli commandos, operated above and below the ground, but the abductees were murdered before the forces were able to enter the tunnel. It is believed that the terrorists noticed the forces from a distance and decided to murder them rather than allow them to be rescued alive. Following the autopsy, it was understood that the abductees were murdered on Thursday. DNA evidence collected from the site where the dead bodies of the Israeli hostages were found is now being compared to DNA evidence collected from the terrorists who were eliminated in battles with the IDF forces in the vicinity of this tunnel entrance on the same day. If one or more of them carried out these murders and then ran away through the nearby tunnel entrance to emerge above ground and engage with IDF forces, we will soon know all about it. This is a distant possibility because the tunnel had many exit points in the vicinity, including the entrance that was found in a children's play area decorated with paintings of iconic cartoon characters. This tunnel was about 120 meters long and used for transit between different points. Meanwhile, the hunt for Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar continues. On Tuesday, he published a message from his hiding place, congratulating Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune on his re-election to the position. This is the first time we've seen any kind of message from Sinwar since last December, where he sent an open letter to the head and members of the Hamas political bureau. Notably, about 2 weeks ago, it was published by the Israeli intelligence sources in the Daily Express news portal that Sinwar was hiding among Palestinian civilians along the Gaza Strip disguised as a woman after he abandoned the terror tunnels of Gaza. The IDF was very close to capturing him several times while he was hiding in those tunnels. This is according to IDF intelligence. Here at TBN Israel, we will continue to update you on events going forward. Please help us by sharing our videos on YouTube and following us on social media. Subscribe to this YouTube channel to stay up to date. If you want more updates in real time and to read in-depth articles on military and political issues about Israel, go to our website at tbnisrael.com/news. Switching our focus now to events in Judea and Samaria. The IDF spokesperson's office announced that a large-scale security operation has been launched overnight Tuesday in the area of Tubas and Tamun in northern Samaria. According to Palestinian sources, there were 5 fatalities resulting from these operations. On Israel's northern front, the IDF has continued to hit Hezbollah positions all over southern Lebanon, including heavy bombardment and raids on rocket launch sites and ammunition storage facilities. Overnight Tuesday, the IDF reported carrying out a total of 16 strikes with a particular focus on Hezbollah positions in and around the city of Zibkin. Here at TBN Israel, we will continue to keep you updated on the volatile situation in the north of Israel. But before we continue with today's report, I want to tell you about the sponsor of today's video. I know all of you are praying for us here during this challenging time. Now, I want to give you an opportunity to become a true friend of Israel. The Friends of Israel Gospel Ministry was founded in 1938 as an effort to assist Jewish people in Europe facing the Nazi Holocaust, and it has continued to bless the Jewish people ever since. This support is rooted in their biblical commitment to this sacred place, Israel. Now, during the current war, Friends of Israel is raising contributions to provide essential aid such as bomb shelters, ambulances, medical equipment, helmets, and fire-resistant clothing. They also offer training and specialized gear for volunteers and first responders, playing a crucial role in saving lives and preparing for future challenges. Remember, every donation you make is going directly for the effort of saving lives here in Israel. So please visit their webpage at israelurgent.org and help us win this war. Thank you, and now back to the news. I want to speak for a moment on the subject of the hostages. The Tikva Forum is a group of family members of the hostages, and on Tuesday evening, in response to revelations from the IDF about the tunnels where the 6 hostages were murdered, this group sent a list of demands to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The statement accompanying the demands said, in part, "We are shocked to the depths of our souls after the discovery of the tunnel where our loved ones were murdered. The State of Israel cannot continue to conduct itself as usual." The families claim that according to all the parties involved in the negotiations, Hamas is not interested in a deal at all. There is no kidnapping deal on the agenda, certainly not a deal that includes everyone. Following this, the families are calling on the Prime Minister of Israel to establish new rules in the Gaza Strip and present 3 main demands: an end to all aid to Hamas, with the exception of supplying food to citizens who have been evacuated from their homes, the imposition of a full blockade on Gaza, and the complete cessation of negotiations with Hamas. According to them, negotiations should only be conducted with parties who prove that they are in possession of the hostages. The families make it clear that the current situation cannot continue and that immediate and decisive action on the part of the government is required. The plan to which the families refer proposes dramatic measures that include stopping the food supply to the north of the Gaza Strip, moving the population from the north of Gaza to the south, and suffocating about 5,000 terrorists who will remain in the north of the Gaza Strip. It is impossible to know what the government will do with these demands from the families, but it is remarkable that we've come to a point where these demands are being made publicly. They will surely be debated and discussed, both in the Knesset, the Israeli parliament, and on the street level all over Israel. Here at TBN Israel, we will continue to bring you all the news about these events. Please take a moment to look for the follow button, share our videos on YouTube, and follow us on social media. I want to ask you to join us in the most important thing, which is prayer. Please unite in prayer for the hostages, for the quick return, healthy, home to their loved ones. Please pray for the IDF soldiers that are risking their lives every day on multiple fronts. Please pray for all the civilians that are affected by these terrorist organizations to be safe and to know God. Please pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
Hello, this is Mati here in Jerusalem with TBN Israel.
This is Yair Pinto from TBN Israel here in Jerusalem. TBN Israel is keeping viewers informed with Israel-focused news, culture, and what God is doing in this land.
Support TBN Israel today online at tbn.org/Israel. Thank you.